The Mandean Book of John the Baptist, translated and edited by Dahman Biruba. The Prophet John explains his formation, birth, upbringing, and education. John teaches his disciples in the evening of the night. John teaches his disciples and says, "The celestial spheres and chariots shook, the inhabitants of the earth and the heavens cried and shed their tears." And he said, "My father was 99 years old, and my mother was 88 years old. They brought me from the waters of paradise. They took me, delivered me, and put me into the womb of my mother Elizabeth. I remained in her womb for 9 months, as all fetuses do. No midwife participated in my birth among the Jews, and they did not cut my navel in Jerusalem. They did not establish for me the false birth limits, nor did they attach the bell of evil to me. I was born from Elizabeth in the city of Jerusalem, the city of the council of priests, and it was my birthplace." Uzair, the great scholar, stood up and shook his head. So the Yahudite Jews gathered, and he brought them near elder father Zachariah and said to him, "My brother, elder father Zachariah, the one who gave you a son, took pity on you. Tell us, what do you want us to call him? If we name him Yahya the Wise, he will master the holy book in Jerusalem. And if we name him Zatan, the mayor of the Yahudai, they will believe in him and not disbelieve in him." When Elizabeth heard their words, she shouted out and said, "I do not want these names that you mentioned, except for one name that was assigned to him. His name was coined as John Johanna, and this name was given to him by the great living God." When the Yahudai heard this, they were filled with evil anger against her and said, "What weapon should we use for the child and his mother to kill them by our hands?" The angel Insh Athara heard their words, so he took the newborn and ascended him to the white mountain Barwan Tora Hiwara, where the young children were fed and raised on the juice of the fruits there. John said, "Until I was 22 years of age, I mastered wisdom and completed all my studies. They dressed me in white clothes like light, covered me with a cover of light, and tied a religious belt for me, like the waves of water, illuminating and radiating from beginning to end. Then they set me in a boat shining with light, and at 7 hours on Sunday, they brought me to the city of Jerusalem. Loud shouts started among the Jews, and a caller began to call out among the people in Jerusalem, saying, 'Who had a son given to her, and her son was stolen? Who made a vow and asked for something about it? The woman who was given a son, and she lost him, let her come here and get to know him.' One of the women there, called Libata, said, 'To which house does the boy belong?' And it became clear to her, and she knew the boy, and she went to Elizabeth, saying, 'A boy has come to the Jews, a prophet has arrived in Jerusalem.' A boy came to the Jews, and next to him stood a guiding man. The boy's mouth resembles your mouth, and his lips resemble the lips of the elder father Zachariah. His eyes resemble your eyes, and his forehead resembles the forehead of the elder father Zachariah. His nose looks like yours, and his hands look like the hands of the elder father Zachariah. When Elizabeth heard these words, she went out without a scarf. As soon as Zachariah saw this behavior from his wife, he wrote her an abandonment document. Then the angel of the sun from heaven and the angel of the moon from among the stars addressed him. The angel of the sun addressed elder father Zachariah in Jerusalem, saying, O elder father Zachariah, your wife's womb has become pregnant after she has grown old and lost its fruit, like an Arab whose right has been lost. A boy came to the Jews and to Elizabeth, and she ran to see him. So why did you divorce her? Elizabeth arrived at the river, and as soon as the son saw his mother, he jumped out of his boat. He jumped and fell on his mother Elizabeth and kissed her on the mouth. When the angel Enishbi saw that, he spoke and said to John in Jerusalem, Was it written for you in your book and explained to you in your law that you could kiss a Jewish woman on her mouth? John spoke and said to the angel Enishbi in Jerusalem, I stayed in her womb for 9 months, as all fetuses stay, and she was not bored with me. So now it does not bother me to kiss her on the mouth. In any case, blessed is every person who takes care of his father and mother. The person who takes care of his father and mother, there is no one dearer than him in the world. When John mentioned this, the angel Enishbi agreed with him and knew that John had become wise. The angel Enishbi spoke and addressed the angel of the sun from Jerusalem and said, Guard for me the young man whom the great living God has sent. Guard him until we come back to take him. The angel Enishbi spoke and addressed the angel of the moon from Jerusalem and said to him, Guard for me the young man whom the great living God has sent. Guard him until we come back to take him. Praise be to the being who has arrived at this place. May the great living God purify you